Hey, hello. We are back with Jason Garlock.
Hello.
And Zach had to run off to do something, but he is here, I assure you. I've seen him and he's alive.
Zach
And
lives.
no doubt. And how are you doing tonight, Garlock?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's always fun watching Romero movies, and this one's one of the better ones.
It is hey, there he is. There's Zach.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, Zach, how you feeling tonight?
I'm doing pretty well tonight.
Nice, man. I'm kind of tired. My voice is like a 7 out of 10, but my mood and my energy are like a 10 out of 10 because of this amazing movie that we're about to crack open like a suit of armor.
Speaking of cracking open, I got a nice fancy IPA for the stream, Delirium.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going to be a hipster.
Does it have a knight on it?
No, it has an elephant, so it's based.
Oh my goodness. Red elephant.
Well,
Garlock, do you have a copy of the film tonight for us?
Yes. My prop today is the old ancient Anchor Bay Knightriders DVD.
Nice.
Special features and stuff is old Anchor Bay wood with a gold case, cool disc. I spent a little bit of money on this, and I'm wearing a Man of War shirt. So
that is pretty sweet, man.
Man of War, Sign of the Hammer. Thought it was apropos.
Man of War are definitely a Knightriders-esque band, and maybe they should have been on this movie. I'm gonna say I get why Romero went with his soundtrack, because this movie is all about purity of vision. It's all about being real, and he wanted some folk music, man. He wanted some medieval kind of stuff going. But maybe
it kind of seemed like he had his house crew on doing everything. Like I think it was Donald Rubinstein did the music, and I think he did a lot of the stuff for Romero around this era. I'm pretty sure he's the brother of the producer Richard Rubinstein, who did Laurel Productions, I think, with Romero during this era. Unless
I'm saying maybe if he'd had like a cool rock soundtrack, more than 5 people would have seen it.
But yeah. And we're 3 of them. So.
But who am I to judge his artistic merit here? This movie's all about art versus commerce. It's all about not selling out to the man. It's about sticking to your vision to the point of destruction. It is about it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And here we go, guys. Boom! There's our hero. Here is Ed Harris. The movie opens up with some nice shots of some trees. And there's a blackbird flying around. As the crow flies, we see Ed Harris. He is self-flagellating. He's got a whip, like Opus Dei, and he's like just beating himself in the back.
Thought this was interesting. Just
yeah, definitely.
Just his daily self-mutilation. It's kind of just there. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that's just kind of there for being their sake, and I think it's up to the viewer to kind of like figure it out in their own mind. But yeah, this is great. I love this scene right here.
Well, in traditional Catholicism, self-flagellation is practiced in the context of the doctrine of the mortification of the flesh, and it is seen as a spiritual discipline. It is often used as a form of penance and is intended to allow the flagellant to share in the sufferings of Christ, bringing his or her focus to God. I feel this is his form of morning prayer. You or me, we might just get down on our knees and thank God and all that, or maybe somebody cracks open a rosary. But because this guy's the king, he has to go to a whole different level. He takes
Makes sense to me.
He takes being king very serious. That is what I got from this.
Yeah, that would be almost an understatement right there. But yes.
And we got here. He's doing some katas. He's got his sword out, and he's kind of like he kind of lives by the sword, I guess you could say.
Yeah, this kind of looked like a warrior's prayer type thing.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. He is dead serious as king.
And I'm not gonna just make Man of War references this entire stream. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
here they are. They're gearing up. You see, she's got a crown on. He's putting on his armor.
got a very
we get a-
sort of medieval aesthetic here. Like, where's this set? And then he has his he needs it. His steed.
They are they're the Knightriders, man. And this shot kind of goes on for a while, just to kind of drive it on home. There's a lot of shots in this movie that kind of go on for a while, but they're all worth it. They're all fantastic.
This movie kind of goes on for a while.
It does. Here we got Ken Faree. We're at the Renaissance Fair, and he is Little John. Because he's Little John, Wasn't Little John wasn't he one of like Robin Hood's men?
This movie seems to be sort of an amalgamation of different mythologies.
Yeah, because there's some Robin Hood guys, but there's also some King Arthur guys. It's all over the place. But Ken Faree, I think, is mostly known for Dawn of the Dead. He is the lead head honcho in Dawn of the Dead. He was also very memorable in Stuart Gordon's From Beyond. Have you guys seen From Beyond?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Have you seen that one, Zach?
No, I'm trying to think. I think I've only seen one Stuart Gordon movie.
He dies one of the worst deaths I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, he bites it super hard. It's really just
he does. It's sad because he's Dawn of the Dead guy, and that's the ultimate movie.
Yeah, he's also in Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 to sort of bring it back to one of our older streams. There we go. And in that movie, he's unable to be killed, so it makes up.
He's like Black Rambo in that movie.
Yeah,
nice.
He like gets his head pretty much sliced in half by Leatherface, and then he just like shows up at the end of the movie, and he's like, "I'm okay." Like, good, we love you.
Maybe I got to see that movie. I've seen that one.
It's pretty good. It's cool. It's no Texas 2, but it's better than Texas 4, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, here he's explaining how to gimmick the wooden lance so that nobody gets hurt, because he doesn't want anybody killed out there. And so this movie, it's got a biker element to it. It's got a medieval element to it, and it also has a carny element to it. These guys kind of have their own form of kayfabe here, where they're it's a shoot. They are fighting each other, but they don't want to have anybody killed. So they're gimmicking the lances. Oh, here's the guy. Here's the main dude.
Well, the second main dude, but yeah.
The not quite the co-star, but one of the more memorable aspects of this movie. Tom Savini himself, a longtime Romero collaborator here, kind of bumped up the card.
Just as a side note, I've actually been like near him when I went to this convention to sell books with an old publisher, and I was surprised at how freaking short he is. He's like almost like next to midget level short. I mean, that might be an exaggeration, but he's pretty tiny fella.
That's kind
How tall are you, Zach?
Huh?
How tall are you? Zach?
5'10".
Oh my goodness.
Okay, just for comparison's sake.
Well, hey man, Dio was also like pretty minuscule, but he's very
Dio was like 4'11".
He's very powerful in the arts of medieval badassery, much like Mr. Savini here.
Savini's the man. I mean,
he is the man.
He's Sex Machine.
He was Sex Machine, and he mostly does. He did a lot of bit parts, and I can't, unless I'm wrong, I think this is his biggest role. Am I wrong there?
He had a kind of big role in Martin, but yeah, he was definitely I'd say the co-lead / pseudo antagonist in this movie.
I also, as a side note, I saw that he was in Zack and Miri Make a Porno by Kevin Smith, and he wasn't Dante's dad, which is very strange to me because he looks like Dante's dad.
Was Dante in that? Was that a View Askew? I never saw it.
I don't know if it was in that universe, but come on, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, didn't he direct a Night of the Living Dead remake?
He did, and what's her name? Is it Julie Dean in this movie? Plays Barbara in that movie.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm
somebody else?
I'm pretty sure I could.
I don't know.
Now you get me spooked.
Sorry, man. I didn't think Night of the Living Dead remake was great. Tony Todd playing the lead. I forgot the character's name.
Yeah, Patricia Tallman as Barbara, and Patricia Tallman is in this as
Awesome.
Julie Dean. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, cool. I should watch that one again soon.
I was thinking the same thing. I haven't seen that thing since high school. But they got some watermelons
It's pretty
here.
rad.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. Yeah, I would say it's in my top 10 zombie movies. The remake, that is.
You like it better than the original?
I don't know about that. I'd have to watch them back to back. But
they're pretty much the same, except Barbara, instead of being a quivering, like massive, useless gelatin, is actually proactive and beats zombie ass. Anyway, we're not talking about that.
No problem, man. So Savini has his mace that's very heavy, and he's smashing the watermelon with it. This guy here, the living Ken doll, Alan, he has a problem with the mace. He's like, hey, man, you can hurt some with this thing. He says, hey, this looks a little heavy. And Morgan says that it would knock him on his ass. And that's what he's afraid of, getting hit in the head with it. It's supposed to be a work, brother. You know,
he's a sensitive type.
Yeah, Savini wants to work stiff, man. Savini comes over and tosses it to him. So this is like a nice little peek behind the curtain of the operation. And he explains that the impact gets absorbed by a chain, but this when you have like a flail, but this thing's solid, so it can hurt somebody. And he says, just because your armor will take a bazooka shell, don't forget some of us are wearing tinfoil. To which Savini says, that's your problem. My problem is to knock you out of that saddle. So Savini is kind of a hard ass here. He's kind of a a maniac. Here we go. There's the
he was in Maniac.
He was in
Maniac.
Movie.
Yeah,
he get shot in the face.
Yes, he does. Yes, I think his character's name is Party Boy or something like that.
Oh my goodness. Well, he's got the mace. It's supposed to be a work, and there's some friction here. I would say this is one of the main points of contention of the first act of the movie is this mace here. It's a little too heavy.
This movie has like 12 acts.
It does. Savini says, well, you can use the mace. I'm not afraid of it. He's very impetuous. He's kind of like RVD, just throwing kicks at people's windpipes. He's kind of just he is a maniac. They're waiting for King Billy. They can't have the tournament without King Billy. We have here a gross fat guy. His daughter's words, not mine. She calls him a fat slob jerk. What's that?
Oh, I said apt nonetheless.
Yes. He's trying to get a free ear of corn. He's a drunk fat guy, and there's some friction with his family, and you get the idea, hey, maybe his daughter is going to join the carnival. We shall see. We shall see. We see there's the girl. There's the daughter. That is Barbara from Not a Living Dead remake. Oh my goodness. But here we are. This kind of tomboy looking lady comes over, and that's
Romero's wife.
Is it really?
Yeah, Christine. Oh, she's billed as Christine Forrest in this, but yeah, it's Christine Romero or Christina Romero.
I did not know that.
She was also in Martin, and everybody's in every Romero movie ever. You know,
we got the whole Romero crew here, the entire Romero crew.
Pretty much.
Her face is all kind of messy with some schmutz, and he's trying to wipe it off for her, but he lets her know they have trouble with the law. Oh my goodness! Here we go. All right. The next scene, the fat slob guy's daughter, she causes a guy to crash his bike, and it is Alan. And she apologizes, and he says, "It's what I do. Falling off bikes is what I do." She's very impressed. She's kind of smitten by this guy, Alan. And
She has a clumsiness
Yeah.
fetish or something.
She asks him if it's bloody, and he says it's never too bad when it's just a show. And he offers her a ride, and she hops on the back. Ken doll guy is a very smooth operator. Yeah. Next up, we got the next big problem. Boss Hog is here. And Boss Hog wants to know about their permit. Morgan is there to offer backup. And they say there's no medical facilities, there's no doctor. And they point to Merlin and say, he's our doctor. And there's their doctor, this character over here. This guy is played by Brother Blue. He was a street performer. And the tattoos, well, they weren't actually, the butterflies painted on his face are part of his street performing act. And his act includes universal themes, lore, personalities, motifs, and penumbra referenced in Brother Blue's opus. He's very into caterpillars, metamorphosis, and butterfly. Butterflies, I think now are they're almost like a mind control motif, but I don't think that's what this movie is talking about. I think it's more of a metamorphosis motif. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I don't think he's supposed to be a sinister mind control guy, but he's kind of just the hippie guy. He's the guru. He's the spiritual guy.
Yeah, he just says vague spiritual things, then everyone goes ooh and ah.
he's like he's the Sphinx. He lets
I thought he
Boss
kind of
Hog-
had a Scatman Crothers vibe.
Yeah, he did. He kind of talked like in rhyme sometimes. He kind of bust out a harmonica and then lay down some law. He lets Boss Hog know that he is a doctor in good standing, no malpractice, clean record. But there's still trouble with the permit. Vinny points out this has nothing to do with who signed the permit because he knows that the Boss Hog guy, he's on the take. He wants a cut of the proceedings here.
And do you have a pick of Boss Hog? Like, it should be noted he's also a fat, disgusting slob.
I do. He's right there.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah.
He shows up again
He
later
almost
on.
looks exactly like the other guy.
It's, I'm guessing this was filmed in the Northeast somewhere, like Maine or kind of.
It's probably Pittsburgh, like every other Romero movie ever.
Oh, okay, that sounds about right.
Or,
Sounds
you know, the outlying area, I should say. Like Pennsylvania somewhere. It's just a guess.
So here's King Billy, and he is with the Queen. And the Queen is played. I want to say her name was. I had her name here. Where did it go? Amy Ingersoll, who doesn't really do anything else. I think she was in Splash briefly as a reporter, and I saw like maybe some voice acting, but she's mostly here to look concerned. She's usually watching. Her King Billy's kind of a nut job. But she's in love with him, and she's always like, "Oh, Billy, like, what are you doing?" And that they meet up with Alan here, who's up for a ride with Julie Dean, and they're explaining what's going on. Where we at down here? Boom, boom, boom. Also, Alan, I kind of thought like he is kind of the Lancer. He is Lancelot, basically. He is King Billy's right hand man. And the guy who he's kind of there to save Billy from himself because Billy's a little crazy, as we'll see. But he lets him know there's trouble with the police. He asks who the girl is, and her name is Julie Dean, as we discussed earlier, and she is Barbara from Not a Living Dead remake. Oh, we got Fight or Yield. I thought that was pretty sweet. Pretty sweet bus we got going on here.
Yeah, I noted that. That was cool.
Oh, here we got Stephen King as they start doing their fighting. Stephen King's there with his wife. He makes a comment about how he doesn't have the balls to wear something like that, and there's a gratuitous kind of crotch shot of one of the carnival guys. kind of a strange scene.
Yeah, Romero and King were good buddies.
I feel like they wanted King to be in there somehow, and they had to work him in, so they worked in the crotch shot. And okay, we'll have Stephen King, and is that his wife?
Yeah, Tabitha.
Oh, okay. She's not too. She looks yeah, she's looking good there. King Billy asks what the problem is, and Savini points out that the deputy wants a payoff. King Billy won't do it because it's wrong, and he says that this guy, he's not going to shut us down. So we get right away here, Savini or Morgan. He is more willing to compromise with the world, but King Billy is an absolutist. No compromise at all in King Billy. Oh, here's the announcer guy. He's kind of a flamboyant character. And he announces
he
the
has
king
his
of
little
our
sub story, which is
Gay.
whatever. Well,
he is an outsider in these times, and he has come to this carnival to kind of find a niche for himself in this world that has rejected him. And he says the king of our little Camelot, the noble William and his lovely Lady Lene. Ed Harris, he kind of has his own announcer. It's very much a show busy kind of thing.
Is it me, or does it kind of look like Robert Plant?
It kind of does. There's a lot of Robert Plant action going on in this movie. A lot of what was it, 84? So
81.
Yeah, that's just how people were rocking back then. Ed Harris, he's asked about the mace. And he tosses it back to Little John. And he says, if Morgan needs a hand weapon, tell him it's okay to use the mace. So the king, he's fine with the mace. He's like, I don't care. Because he's a little crazy too. Alan, the Lancelot guy, he is not happy about this because he knows that somebody can get hurt this thing. And I would side more on the side of Alan, like that's supposed to be a work brother, like maybe you don't need to be like killing people with an actual mace.
Totally bashing the shit out of each other.
Yeah, it's kind of the it's like the balcony dive of the Knightriders circuit. Or
yeah.
It's like Mick Foley being, or it's the unprotected headshot, chair shot to the head that has been banned.
Yeah.
The announcer guy
reason.
announces the ever punctual Sir William the King. He's kind of being catty there because King Billy's late. Well, that's okay. That's kind of his job. We got some lance action going on here. Oh, there he is. There's the king and the queen.
Knows what he
sit up
wants.
there. They sit on the throne and they watch the proceedings. So we get a motorcycle stunt show, and we see a little person with a deck of cards being beat up by various knights. And Alan explains to Julie Dean that it's like drawing lots. You never know who you're going to go up against. Then the announcer points out that the king himself may ride in the games if he feels an opponent worthy. So King Billy waves a flag, and we get our first joust. Alan then explains the winners fight each other until there's a champion. Stephen King's there again.
The leader.
Oh, go ahead, Jason.
This shows that the leader should be the mightiest warrior, like in this in the hierarchy of this little troop. Like he may be the king, but he has to defend his throne, and he has to get out there and do his thing and prove that he's the man.
He has it's a martial culture. They have a martial tradition. Stephen King explains that it's like pro wrestling, and he is right in some ways. There are a lot of parallels with professional wrestling here. I do wonder, was George Romero a professional wrestling fan?
I wouldn't put it past him. He was kind of into comic books and stuff like that, so maybe. I don't know. And it should be noted Stephen King is in the next Romero movie also.
He was in a lot of Romero. They had a lot of collaborations because Stephen King they did The Dark Half together.
I mean, like he was in Creepshow, like acting.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
Wait a second. Who was
Jordy Verrill?
So he was like, I mean, Stephen King makes a lot of cameos. So he was the main character in that movie.
He
Or
was the
a
main character in the
role?
story, The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill.
Oh
Where,
yeah, yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. The plant dude.
Exactly. Yep. Meteor shit. Yep, that was Stephen King. And he was in The Stand.
He was.
Yep.
Yeah.
We see that one of the winning knights is a lady. And Dean sees this and she's like, oh, far out. Sure. Her mind is blown.
Sure.
It's very, it's kind of showing, you don't know what to expect here. You know, it's not what you would expect it to happen here. When you're in this kingdom here, when you're in the Knightriders land, anything can happen. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation, as they used to say. There's the mace.
Should have worn my Ultimate Warrior shirt instead. Shit.
Morgan is announced as the infamous Black Knight. And Morgan and Sir Kay are fighting, and it's announced that they can fight using hand weapons. And King Billy watches on in amusement. So they're like, yeah, they got like these, they get in sidecars. And then they have like, after the jousting, they have these sidecars, and they go after each other with the maces and whatnot.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Little John asks Morgan if he wants to use the mace. Let's go back here. This is, I think, an important scene. So Little John asks Morgan if he wants to use the mace, and it kind of feels like a moral test, because King Billy said he could, but now will he? Morgan says he did. Yeah, I don't need to use this thing, you know, because he's like, this is kind of a dick move using this damn big heavy mace. But then he looks up at the king, and he changes his mind and almost kind of winks, and he's like, okay, I will use it. So there's kind of a. Do you feel like there's a mind game going on here, Garlock? Kind of a like maybe the king is testing him, but he's not sure what to do, but he goes for it. He's going to go for the king.
Yeah, I think he's sort of like seeing if he could like test Morgan's valor and see if he'd go for the easy route, and it turns out that he does.
Yeah,
so, it shows that Morgan has a little bit of a dark side.
He does, but the king knows. The king. It kind of shows the king knows what's up.
Yeah, I mean that's his job. He's a king. He needs to know what the fuck's up with everything.
Yeah, the knights are battling each other, and Merlin, he hands King Billy his helmet. Is Billy going to get in the ring? He takes off the crown, and the queen is concerned. And she says, Billy, you're not going to do this.
As ever.
Maybe Morgan will lose. And then she says, Billy, your shoulder. You're still not right from the last one. So Billy's got a bad arm. Is he still fit to be the king? That is the question here. There's a lot of intrigue going on. Yeah, going on here next.
There's a lot going on, period, in this movie, because one thing that Romero does is he does like really quick editing. He does his own editing, so he puts a lot of information into his movies in a short amount of time, which is why this 2.5 hour movie seems like it's 12 hours.
It was, I remember I was like, as I was taking my notes, I was an hour into this movie, and it felt like I'd already done like 2 movies. Because there's just, it's so compressed. It's kind of like when you buy comic books in the 80s or 90s, Garlock, and it was like a novella sized comic, and it would take you like an hour to read a comic book because there's just so much information crammed in this thing. And now movies
like
and
seconds.
Comics, pretty much everything in a culture is now decompressed bullshit. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, it's all dumbed down. And I mean, really, it's kind of like the battle that this movie is stating. The battle of like personal ideals versus commerce is like we lost that battle.
It's very much as above, so below, because
like commerce won.
It did, but Ed Harris is fighting the dragon here. Zach, what do you think? Does this movie feel a little long to you?
Yeah, actually, it took me 2 sittings to watch it.
It was it's I mean, I love this movie, but there's a reason I waited like another 12 years. I first saw it 12 years ago, and it blew my mind. But I wasn't like in a huge hurry to watch it again. But it's
Yeah, I mean, I would have watched it all in one, but I started it at night, and then before I knew it, it was already freaking like 1 in the morning, and it still wasn't over, and it had like another hour and a half left. And I'm like, oh heck.
Yeah.
so so this guy here, this is Friar Tuck, and he is kind
Prior
of
Tech is a cool dude.
he's a drunk party guy, and he gives the most half-assed like like, here you go, man, you're he's like, King Billy, like, what are you doing, man?
The kind of funny thing is that, like, to the operation of the circus thing, he's 100% useless. Like, he's just walking around in his friar outfit.
I think people think he's fun. He's a fun guy, so they kind of keep him around because he kind of brings the party.
Yeah.
He was a court jester.
Yeah, exactly. We see Merlin has his doctor bag. We see Merlin checking a night to see if he has a concussion, while King Billy takes a sword. And this is kind of the culmination of this part of the movie. I feel like this is the climax of the first act, and we have the Black Knight fighting King Billy. Yeah, we got next here. Oh my goodness! I think that's oh my god! I get a little too far ahead here. Maybe I did. But yeah, we see Morgan. He has the mace, and he is battering King Billy in his bad shoulder. And as it does this, the announcer says, "If the king goes down, we have to be ready to rescue. If the king goes down and Morgan can make him yield, he surrenders the crown." No, I'm sorry. I think that's Alan explaining that to Julie Dean. And the king's guard, they ride out and they rescue the king. And I believe that is Alan there, and he knocks over Morgan, and he lands on his head.
The stunt work in this movie is just phenomenal. Like, so many people go just ass over tea kettle all the time, and I'm surprised nobody died.
I remember back in like 2008 or 2009, reading about this movie. I found a website that claimed like there was an enormous amount of injuries on the set. But I couldn't find the article anymore. I'm guessing it got scrubbed off the internet, like everything else. Legit ever did. But
So did y'all see this in theaters or did just DVD?
We're not that old.
Yeah,
I saw it on VHS. Probably like I would say 07, 08. It was a while ago.
I am that old, but I'd still be like 4 when this came out. I first saw it just a few months ago when I bought the DVD because I was trying to shore up my Romero collection. I'd never seen it, and Jim always recommended it to me, but he's like, you said, it was like 12 hours long, so.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
12 hours long. It feels like 20. So Alan is battling him and tosses Savini onto his head, and his cronies check on him. And Rocky, the female knight, she says, "Basics, Morgan. You forgot your basics." That's kind of her shtick. And
it's like her one line she repeats throughout the movie.
He says that he did not. So Morgan is very likely the best fighter amongst all these guys. But there's a lot of concern that he's not fit to be king. I think the people like Billy, and they think maybe this guy is a little too much of a maniac. But then, by the same token, King Billy allowed him to use the mace. And does Billy have a death wish? Because he knew the mace was meant for him. Yeah. We see Steve King again talking about how it's all fake, and that's kind of his shtick.
Yeah, I call that an extended camp.
There's a lot of things in this movie. George Romero allegedly had a director's cut that was even longer.
Ooh.
That was like, I think,
You gotta be
4 hours
fucking
long.
kidding me.
No, yeah. I was always hoping he would put it out, but then he died. But there's a lot of branches in this movie that aren't really like addressed. A lot of things that kind of just are left hanging, and I kind of feel like Rocky is one of them. It feels like she's involved with the training or something.
Seems to be kind of a lot of random stuff that doesn't get followed up on. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's especially later on in the movie in the third act, and there's a lot of stuff that kind of is left hanging.
Or 12th act, whatever.
We see a mime as the nurse. Alan is here, and he says, "Who proved what out here?" And Billy says, "Morgan proved he can kick my ass." Like he's kind of proud of Morgan for kicking his ass. Alan is angry. Yeah, it's like when your kid beats you up or something, even though I think they're the same age. But
yeah, probably, yeah. Figured they were both like 30 or something.
Now that mime, for some reason, was just freaky, especially later on when he picks up the baby.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like,
I thought that was a little disconcerting. Yeah,
it felt ominous. Nothing came of it, and I guess the mime's a good guy, but you don't want to see a mime with a baby. I don't know why that is.
maybe that's in the director's cut. Yeah.
Okay. Alan explains that this lifestyle is all about having things they can count on. And one of the things we count on is you. Oh, my goodness. What we got here? What's this guy doing? There's the gesture guy. 42. He wants to know if the king is okay. Everybody's worried. Everybody's worried about the king. All right. Alan says, "You've been messing up lately, but you keep putting it on the rest of us, and this whole thing is going to blow up, and nobody needs that kind of shit, man. That's why we are here." I think this is a good pep talk that Alan gives him. It's like, hey, dude, like, you're the man. We all know you're the man. We respect that you're the man. But for God's sake, don't let this maniac, cripple you with this thing, because he just doesn't quite get it.
The thing about King Billy is he's pretty much like living inside of like all of Dio's songs ever written. Like he's in that fantasy world.
It is the source of his charisma and power that he is so far deep into this world. And people are kind of like walking on eggshells around that fact. They're like, hey, Billy, like, yeah, you're the king, fight the dragon, but maybe don't let this guy cripple you. Maybe like, maybe be a real person for a minute here.
I think the way he acts is kind of admirable, but it would be kind of hard to deal with. On a
No doubt,
level.
no doubt. All right. There's a bit of sexual tension between the Lady Knight and Sir Morgan, Rocky and Morgan. She says he better get lost, or she's going to do something very, very bad to him with his mace. Savini kind of feigns passing out. Savini is kind of a rascal. That's the vibe I get. But we are back in Merlin's tent, and there's an owl. And again, I don't think this is like a Moloch owl. I think this is it's there to represent wisdom, because this next scene is Merlin kind of also giving King Billy a pep talk.
It's like Archimedes or something,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. That guy's just freaky looking, all skinny with the dang tattoos and whatnot.
I don't think he was in like many other movies. I think this is a singular performance. I'm guessing Romero knew this guy from around town. That guy is my Merlin. That guy looks crazy. Let's do this.
He did the dang Giuseppe Andrews thing where, picking out homeless people to be actors. I mean, it's the vibe that he gives. Not that the homeless are bad, but it's
I don't think
something about him.
I don't think he was homeless. I think he was just a street guy, like a street performer. But he's probably involved in some sort of academia. But King Billy tells him, yeah.
I would imagine maybe in some of the Romero's Dead movies, like maybe Day of the Dead, like he did actually hire homeless people to. I'm just guessing, but he might have hired homeless people to play zombies. Because if you're a zombie in a Romero movie, you got a sandwich and a T-shirt that said "I was a zombie in a Romero movie" or "I was a zombie in Day of the Dead," which that would be epic. But
Yeah.
Years ago, around 2008, 2009. Excuse me. I was a soundman gaffer guy on this independent zombie movie, and they just put up an ad and saying, "Hey, we need people to be zombies," and like so many people showed up. Everybody wants. I don't know if it was like that back then with Romero, but people want to be extras in a zombie movie, and I'm guessing that Romero didn't have to pay them up very much. This guy, I'm guessing, didn't get paid a whole lot either.
Wait,
But,
what was the zombie movie you were a gaffer on?
It was 1158 by Jeffrey Scott. It is on YouTube. But King Billy tells Merlin he keeps having a dream of a black bird. And he says, the way you get knocked around, it makes sense that you'd have some weird dreams. Whoa, that's some real talk. Even the guy with butterflies on his face is like, Billy, you're kind of crazy. And Billy says, hey, you're supposed to believe in stuff like this. And he says, if I didn't believe in magic, I'd still be treating gallbladders, prostates, and stuff like that. See, magic ain't got nothing to do with the organs, glands, and busted necks. Magic got to do with the soul, man. Only the soul got destiny. It got wings. It can fly. That's magic. The body only got a few moments down here in the dirt with the rest of us. So it's kind of his, he lets Billy know he's crazy. Like, hey, Billy, like you're getting hit in the head. But Billy's like, hey, man, but you believe this stuff. And then he's like, okay, yeah, I'll give you the kayfabe here. I'll give you the rap. And he says, you see things before they happen. And he says, that's just probability. Something's sure to happen. Seeing him coming ain't nothing to get excited about. And he says, you taught me too good, magician. You taught me to believe that Blackbird's going to get me. So this is kind of interesting. This guy taught Billy something. Like maybe this was... We don't know a lot about Billy before this went on. But he seems like he was some kind of Chad-like figure. Like maybe like an athletic background.
Maybe he had his I mean, Arthur had Merlin teach him all sorts of stuff. So yeah, before this I could see, this Merlin teaching Billy all sorts of stuff. And I kind of like this, even though it's kind of, goofy new age spirituality, I like the whole soul talk. Like, we're just going to shake off these bodies and it's the destiny of your soul that matters. I like that.
It's kind of like, who was it in Gladiator? Shadows and Dust or something. We are just shadows and dust.
Yeah.
Dust in the Wind, Kansas.
There we go. Yeah, maybe you'll make it happen yourself. Probability, man. Maybe someday someone comes along with a blackbird painted on a shield. You freak out, drop your guard. He gets you. Okay, that's a little foreshadowing there. But it's kind of like, hey, you're kind of this is also a new agey kind of thing. You're kind of inviting this to happen to you because you're so obsessed with it. Destiny will mess with you like the real King Arthur. He then busts out the harmonica and he plays a sweet harmonica song about King Arthur.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Just pretty nice.
There we go. There's the harmonica. He looks very he looks fearsome here. You're right.
He has like his bloody gloves still on.
He is. It is.
Weird.
I wrote down blood-soaked blues. That is what's going on here.
I never noticed that watching it the first time.
Yeah. Between the owl, Merlin's belief in the law of attraction, and him saying that he taught him too good, is Merlin the one pulling everyone's strings here? I don't think he is, but that did cross my mind. Like maybe like Merlin is a mastermind. But this is kind of a revelation of the method between the king and his wizard.
I mean, these guys are like a traveling motorcycle carny, like Renaissance fair troops, so yeah, they're gonna be into some goofy shit,
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Like,
Some alternative forms of belief,
I don't think they're reading Psalms every night, you know?
no doubt.
Maybe a couple of them. Friar
Although
Tuck, certainly.
it does seem like maybe King Billy has some sort of Catholic background. I don't think he would pick up mortification of the flesh by himself, but who knows? He was also insane. Sir Alan is riding against Sir Hector. Jean gives him a necklace because she is smitten, and he asks where she got it from, and she says that it's from her father. And then he says it's bad luck to take a present from another guy, and if he loses, it is on her.
Implying that it wasn't from her father, it's from some other dude that she was, you know.
Yeah. He's a noble, chaste knight. Hey, where's my pictures at here? Uh-oh.
I don't think he's really chaste, but yeah, noble.
Yeah. Well, I can't win them all.
I need to look up some of those. I've never heard of that band, except.
There we go. Oh yeah, except could have done the soundtrack for this. I think they're definitely a.
Yeah, they have a really good album that has the worst album cover ever.
Oh, which one's that?
The album cover with the like sweaty leather dude, the tidy like the tight panties and the hairy ass legs, like holding the Benoit balls.
What?
Yeah.
There we go.
Great album, but good lord, like.
Yeah, this movie makes me want to listen to like a lot of like the fantasy metal and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's why they should have had it in the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer they didn't get like Basil Poledouris to do the score.
Yeah.
But
I've been pimping this movie really hard all week, and I feel like it's not getting over because nobody knows what the hell it is. Everyone's like, Knightriders? Like, what? Like, Killer Clowns? We all know Killer Clowns. We all know zombie movies, but Knightriders? You guys crazy?
Do we have any viewers right now?
We have 0, but much like King
not
Billy.
Even Trembling Colors. Oh man.
We're doing this for the art, dude. We're doing it for the art.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The art of content creation to satiate people who need content.
Damn the commerce, man. I'm all about the art.
I think this is our best stream already. The king limps out of the hospital. He's back on the throne.
Is that a shoot, Jim? Is that really
What's
a shoot?
That? I think it is. I'm digging it.
Our best stream?
It's Knightriders, man. I love Knightriders.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it'll all go downhill. Maybe we'll see.
Hey,
I'll do what I can to keep that from happening.
I have an idea for a project. We should listen to a lot of fantasy metal and then come up with the definitive fan soundtrack for Knightriders. Just compile a bunch of music.
Right here, Zach. This right here.
Man of War.
That's it. Yeah.
I've never actually listened to them.
I would say
you should, Zach. You really should.
Half of their songs are about them and how cool they are. So that tells you that's they're pretty sweet. The announcer guy, he points out that the champion of the games.
Third. So, okay, Man of War, real quick.
Yeah.
Like,
what's up, Jason? Man of War.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't need to talk about Man of War. No.
Okay.
Go on.
So the announcer guy says that the winner gets special privileges in our society. Privileges that get out of duties. Alan gets knocked down by Ewan, the Invincible. Morgan's lady gives Jean the go-ahead to go check on him. Morgan gives his lady a rose, or not a rose, I'm sorry, like a little tiny flower he finds, and asks for a rub down. And she says,
probably dandelion.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But he looks very miserly there. Like that's his this is very symbolic of his idea of romance. Of him kind of bringing the very smallest token of affection he can find and asking for a rub down. And she says,
if it
what's
works,
the matter?
It works, you know? Like,
yeah. He's got his charm. He's definitely a ladies' man. She asks him,
he's a dad.
What's the matter? Does Alan have all the townie action? Oh, they call them the townies. That's kind of the it's like the ring rats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
the Carney groupies.
Yeah, I was going to tell a story about my hometown, but I don't think I will because we're trying to keep it clean here.
No, I'm
Uh,
curious now. Oh wait, if you're wanting
No,
to keep
tell a
it clean,
story.
then I'm.
oh, I knew a girl and she did something with a carny for a cigarette, and I think I'll leave it there. Um,
Wow,
yeah,
it's pretty
it's a
epic.
real thing. Carnies get a lot of action, man, and maybe that's part of the life of these guys. Alan walks off with Jean as her fat slob dad drunkenly tries to get up. The monk is talking to a biker with a swastika on his forehead and is having him sign a contract. And what am I signing away here, man? And Fire Tuck says, your intelligence, your good looks, and your social standing. Nothing really. That's why they keep Fire Tuck around, because he has an acerbic wit. Sir Morgan here and the king, they bump into each other. And Morgan expresses remorse about hurting King Billy. And he says, I guess Little John's mace is too heavy. So it's kind of like maybe the king wanted to rein him in a little bit. Like, hey, man, you don't need to be using this crazy mace. But he let him use it on him first. Does that sound about right? Like maybe King Billy has a...
That's totally my take on it. Like he wanted to be the test subject. Like
Yeah,
I don't
he,
think
he's...
King Billy is self-loathing, but he's certainly self-destructive.
Well, we get that right away in the opening scenes of the movie where he's kind of beating himself up with his whip.
Yeah, I mean, my take on the whole thing with those two is like, for whatever reason, he wants uh, Tom Savini to be like his successor, but it's like it almost is kind of like I guess you would call it almost like, I mean, they're the same age, but kind of like a fatherly thing. It's like he's getting him ready for to take on the big role, and then it's almost like he's foreseeing the end of the movie.
Very much, very much. Morgan actually says that it's like Billy wanted him to smash him out there. And he says, if you want to prove the mace is too heavy, you don't have to die to do it. That's very true. It's very true. I think Morgan has a much better grasp of reality than King Billy does, I would say. Some would say maybe to a fault, but they're kind of light and dark here. You know, it's very... You have the guy in the light here who is all about the ideals. And you could say that Morgan is a man of the world.
Yeah, I'd say they're equal and opposite.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Very yin and yang. There, a little kid shows up, and he asks King Billy to sign a magazine for him, and he refuses. He says, "I'm sorry, I don't like this kind of stuff."
It's kind of a dick
this is like-
move, you know?
It is. He says this is like Evil Knievel or something like that. It has nothing to do with what we're doing. He apologizes to the kid.
I'll just say that little kid like looked exactly like I did like when I was that age.
Nice, man. That's
Not really. No.
it's like an 80s kid look. It's how
Yeah.
kids were. But yeah, but definitely a dick move. Morgan, however, signs the magazine for the kid. It's kind of like maybe Morgan has what it takes to be the king here. Maybe because he understands some of the he can interface with the world a little bit better than Billy can. Morgan says, "Come here, my man. How about the autograph of the next king? You can be the first." Yeah, there we go. Gene kisses Alan, and Boss Hogg is back. The locals are up to some nonsense, and there's another guy with a big Nazi pendant. And they ride off and are chased by the Knightriders. One approaches a biker, then asks for his axe back. And he takes it back, and then tells him, watch out for that barn. And then the Nazi guy, like, stops at the barn, but then, like, blows through 5 road signs after he stopped, because he starts again for some reason, and then goes, like,
That was
flying
kind
off
of
the
a
cliff.
weird, like, I thought that was kind of a weird Romero sort of, like, comedic, like, turn that he has sometimes. Like the pie fight in Dawn of the Dead, you know? Shit like that.
Yeah, yeah. The lady knight then runs the other Nazi off the road with her lance. His bike flies off the road and explodes.
Yeah,
She
instantly.
tell-
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
She tells him that he looked pretty great out there for a while, but he lost his guts. She says, "You got to have guts to do what we do, baby. That's basic number one." I like the use of baby in movies in the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah.
We see the
Movie
crew
gives me
cleaning-
more of a 70s
I'm noticing
vibe.
we're about an hour into the stream, like 30 minutes into the movie.
It is, you're right, Zach. This does feel like more of a 70s movie than an 80s movie.
I
That's
think
kind
the
of-
70s kind of lasted until about 1983, as far as the
Yeah,
hairstyles and all that stuff goes.
This is more a Zeppelin than Black Sabbath, I will say.
Yeah.
This is a very Zeppelin kind of movie. Everybody's having a good time. They're cooking some ducks. Some folks are shooting arrows. Tom Savini is practicing sparring. There's some hippies here playing some folk music. And somebody says to, I believe it's the Queen, says to King Billy, that everybody here made a conscious decision to be here, to be with you. And when you go crazy, you force them to rethink that decision. You got to compromise. She says, change doesn't mean compromise. Things are different now. We're bigger. We've got
That-
oh, sorry. What's that, Jason?
Compromise is the C word to King Billy. Like he has like zero give, like no quarter whatsoever. Like he just will not, absolutely will not do what he doesn't think should be done.
It's true. And he says, publicity helps the overhead by bringing in more crowns. And then he says, more sucker-headed American driftwood who can't tell the difference between me and Jim Jones or Charles Manson or the Great Belinda. I don't know who the Great Belinda is. Was that a cult leader?
I don't know either.
And he says, that kid thinks I'm
I have
evil
no idea.
Knievel. Let's go to King Billy here. There he is. There he is. And she says, that kid thinks you're Sir William the Knight and you're his hero. And he says, maybe this is the key to the movie. I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm fighting the dragon.
Yep.
What do you guys,
That is the key to the movie.
what do you guys think of what is the dragon to King Billy?
You know, I never figured that out, but I mean, it's probably more obvious. I didn't think about it that much, but to me, it seemed to just be this kind of overall, general, like, you know, commerce, but like everything's ending their way of life and people are leaving and stuff, and he just kind of wants to keep it going. But I never really got what he was doing to, like, what he wanted to do about the problem. I never really understood how he was fighting it. Like, I understood he was fighting it, but how, I didn't get.
I would say I felt in a spiritual sense he's against the world. He doesn't want the world getting into his life, and he's trying to create a world outside of the world that's more pure. And it's
Yep.
kind of
Modern
it's kind of
society.
it's kind of like suicide in Return of the Living Dead 2. Kind of a similar deal where they're devoted to this idea because this world is evil, so we're going to create our own world. I'm going to be a
Yeah,
dim
St. George and his dragon.
Yeah, the dragon. So you could say the dragon could be, some would say Satan, but I would say just the world. He doesn't like the world. He doesn't like commerce.